you want to be a world champion, and I ask you, what's your dream? Then you tell me, I want to be the best in the world. Okay. But then, like, tomorrow you don't show up to train. Or you show up late, you know? And then I'm like, you don't want to be world champion. You just want to be one person fighting tournament. Because if you really want to be the best, if you really want to have that, you have to train in a way that people think you're crazy. Because for me, crazy are the people who say they want to be champions, but they don't do anything to be it. They don't do anything to be a champion. It's true. And then when I got in the finals, I looked at that guy, like, no, you're going to be the second man. I'm not the second. You know?
Hello, Mr. Galvao. Welcome to Bulgaria. Is that your first time in Bulgaria?
Yeah, my first time.
And I hope you like it for now.
Yeah, I really like it. It was nice.
I hope you enjoy. You're here to teach Jiu-Jitsu?
Yes.
And how do you find the students?
We have like a lot of people on the mats, so I start putting them to roll like a little bit more. I'm seeing like the way they train, and you know, Jiu-Jitsu is everywhere. Everybody's learning Jiu-Jitsu really fast. And definitely Bulgaria has a great background in grappling or wrestling, you know, and that helps a lot, you know, judo as well. So I'm pretty happy to see the way they're training here. Definitely, like they can have like lots of shackles for sure, like if they dedicate themselves.
Well, yeah, for sure. You were here because of Planet Petrov, and because of Bulgarian IBJJF. Thank you, Warren. So everyone in Bulgaria is like very glad that you're here. I'm seeing these photos with you, and everyone is like, wow, I'm here and I meet with a legend.
Yeah.
I cannot say everything that you want, everything in this sport. What is the sport for you?
Jiu-Jitsu is a lifestyle. It definitely helps me to set my mindset throughout my days. I think pretty much like Jiu-Jitsu gave me 99% of the things that I have in my life, you know. I'm a man of faith. I believe like that God prepared the path, and Jiu-Jitsu is what I love to do, you know. So that's Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is my passion, what I love, and it's a lifestyle. It helps me a lot.
Did you see that as a path from the beginning, from the first day, or there were a lot of struggles and you had to go severe?
No, I saw like first time, like as soon as I started, I knew that it could be something that I would do like every single day. First day, I try, I like it. I was just like,
immediately fall in love.
Immediately. So immediately not only fall in love, but immediately I knew that I would like compete a lot and be good in Jiu-Jitsu, you know. So I fell in love right away.
Wow. Yeah. I think many people feel this way, and that's why the sport is taking off so strong. I mean, it's very popular in Bulgaria, and I can see that it's very popular worldwide.
Yeah.
Do you think this sport is just taking off because it's growing so much attention and so much people training?
Yeah.
It's not finished and developed like not finished. I mean, developed like box. Just starting to grow up in that definition.
I think, you know, I started Jiu-Jitsu in the 90s. Like mid-90s, I started Jiu-Jitsu. I saw Jiu-Jitsu growing like since the beginning. Like when the federation started, the first worlds, the IBJJF, I mean, right, like the oldest federation. And then like the other federations show up. I remember when I used to train, I used to watch like the ADCC. I see all the legends there, like all the Jiu-Jitsu champions fighting against wrestlers, guys from Red Corps and all of that. And then I see this sport growing, you know. And I remember like for me when I was like blue belt, purple belt, if I wanna watch a fight, I have to either rent a VHS tape from Paquetá, was a guy that used to record all the tournaments back in Brazil. And because of Paquetá, nobody knows about this guy, but back at night, he passed already, he died. He was an old man that used to be with the camera recording every single match. And he has fights of, he has a blue belt, he has fights of like, not just like hands of grace, use of grace, all the grace. Like he started recording and selling those tapes to people. He was our YouTube back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember he used to call in, order, then he shipped to you. It takes like maybe 2-3 weeks to get the tape in your hand, you know? And because of him, like Jiu-Jitsu started getting popular. And I remember because I watched tapes and I see like a guy, for example, like Terere, that was turning into my professor. I used to watch him and then I see him in the tournament, like, oh, I want to talk to him. So I think like the social media helped Jiu-Jitsu a lot, help develop the sports, not only Jiu-Jitsu, but every sport. Technology is definitely like helping us, Instagram and all that. So sometimes people who doesn't train Jiu-Jitsu, they look at me, they're like, oh, you look familiar, you know, I think I know you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's everywhere, you know. Sometimes I'm in the grocery store, people come, take picture, and then I ask them, where you train? They're like, oh, I don't train, I just follow. And then it's kind of like, man, it's different, you know, like back in the day it wasn't like that. And Jiu-Jitsu is not even close to what it's going to become. Because nowadays you can see person like important people in the world like train Jiu-Jitsu, like Mike Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. All these guys are put on the gi, they're training. A lot of celebrities where like in the movies like the fight scene is different nowadays. It's actor. Yeah, all the actors like Tom Hardy, and many other people like.
One day, it's a bit professional level.
Yeah, they're not competing professionally, but they're going to the small tournaments and they're fighting. And people are just like,
it's for everyone.
Yeah,
it's not like a barrier that you should.
Exactly. It's all like Jiu-Jitsu is the most, I would say, like the most acceptable martial arts for anyone. Like you can start Jiu-Jitsu at 60 years old, and you can even compete because you compete against someone your size, your age, your belt level, and no other sport does that, you know. And it's very fair because the difference of the level is way different, like between a black belt and blue belt. So the sport is taking off. I believe like Jiu-Jitsu is only at 1-2% of it can be, you know. I can see like fighters making over $100, $200, $300,000 per fight. I can see like $1 million fight happening in Jiu-Jitsu maybe in a couple of years.
You mentioned Zuckerberg must fight, and they predicted maybe it would be the biggest event ever.
It will, because people are interested on these things, you know. And you see how they fight. Let me see if they can punch. Let me see if they can wrestle, you know, because it's very interesting, you know. And now you see like the boxing matches are different. Back in the day, we wanted to watch Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. Nowadays, people want to watch like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and like YouTubers, right? What can you do? You know, they want to see if a YouTuber is capable to beat up like a professional fighter. Like it's very interesting, and all of that is because of social media. You know, it's because of social media, and I think it's gonna be super big like pretty soon. And of course, like boxing and MMA, you have like millions and millions of views, but just need to have more viewers, you know. And I think this is happening because everywhere you go, you see more and more people practicing Jiu-Jitsu. Because our viewers right now are only people who train Jiu-Jitsu. You know, most like, I would say like 85% of people who watch Jiu-Jitsu matches, they train Jiu-Jitsu. 15% they don't train. They're like just there, you know, watch it.
Yeah, but the message that you're sending, it's more like life coaching, and now this is very popular and important and needed.
Yeah, like in Brazil, for example, like all like the businessmen, like big businessmen, people who own corporation CEOs, they all train Jiu-Jitsu, and they say Jiu-Jitsu helps their business.
So it's going and spreading outside of the sport community, not just people that are deeply involved in the sport.
And I think like there'll be a point where, let's say I don't play soccer, but I watch soccer. I don't play basketball, but I watch basketball. So I think like there'll be a point where people who doesn't train Jiu-Jitsu, they know Jiu-Jitsu, they understand the rules and they're gonna watch more, and they're gonna have their idols, you know, people they wanna watch, and then we're gonna start like blowing up, especially with people like these guys that I mentioned, the famous people. They'll help to develop our jiu-jitsu or sport a lot. And for me, it's important to have a role on that, helping them, you know. So I'm open to help all these people, help all the federations, you know. And if you see, jiu-jitsu is the first sport and the only sport who went to the space. Remember, there was a guy, astronaut, with his guillon. He was in the space, you know, with the guillon. And he was like in the space wearing his gi, his purple belt, explaining what was jiu-jitsu. And we are the first sport in the space. So, you know.
Do you think the sport will develop its technique over time? Because you say now it's like 1 or 2%, but that's because of viewers and money involved in or the development of the sport that maybe there are techniques that are working, but no one tried it yet.
Yeah, I would say like probably like when I mentioned like the percentage here, like 1, 2, 3%. I mean like by the sport as a professional sport.
But overall, from the 90s when you started, until now, the technique is completely.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see something similar to this in development in the future?
Yeah.
30 years?
I think like right now, all the things about technology in terms of like performance, because the knowledge of performance, the knowledge of doctors, you know, to help performance of athletes, for example, like all the supplements and all that. Like back in the day, we didn't have all that. So now, more fighters, they're getting smarter, you know, like they're getting faster, stronger. So all of this, of course, like help to develop like not only the sport but also the techniques. You know, people have their mind like a little bit more sharp, more mobility. They strengthen conditioning as well. For example, like in wrestling is has what they have, you guys have wrestling for centuries. We have wrestling for centuries. You know, judo, for example, but jiu-jitsu, the first wars was in 1996. So just nowadays, you can see like trainers, like, you know, I mean, like physical conditioning trainers that do training like specific for jiu-jitsu. Because back in the day, a jiu-jitsu fighter used to do the same training regime a wrestler or a judo fighter. But now you see jiu-jitsu fighters doing a regime just for jiu-jitsu, you know? So I think like all of this helps in terms of the physical condition, but in the technique, yeah, it developed a lot. And I think like the internet helps us to share our knowledge faster. But I remember when I was blue purple belt, for me to know like a leg drag, I have to go and train with someone that knows the technique and explain me and do a private lesson with that person. So then, okay, now I understand. Nowadays, you can go and open your computer.
When you said about the tips, I suppose you were watching them just to gather knowledge, not just as much as loving the sport and love watching it, but also, what's here?
Yeah, you start through, you know. Yeah, you start rewind. The first instructional was tape, DVDs, you know. And now it's just like by one click, you have everything in your house in your hands. By a couple minutes, you start like drilling the techniques that you want to learn from like a multiple-time world champion. So I think all of this definitely will help to develop this sport faster. And I mentioned that like jiu-jitsu is different for everyone, you know. So you can get the techniques that I show you, and you kind of like do your own way, you know. You have because you're not flexible as me, you're not like strong as me, you know. Maybe you're stronger, or like you're not, your limbs are not like longer as mine, you know. So you start adapting the game towards
for sure, different body mechanics.
Exactly. So I think like that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, because each person has their own. Jiu-jitsu is already within us. The training of jiu-jitsu every day helps you to develop this jiu-jitsu that's already within you. You understand? So everybody born with jiu-jitsu, you know, within. But by hugging each other and practicing and scrambling, you start developing this thing that you have already within. So I think anyone here knows jiu-jitsu, right? But they have a level. So it's like an instinct, you know, because you see all the animals when they fight, they scramble. When we fight, we scramble. So we have like, okay, I have to control you, I have to do by nature. But when you gain knowledge on that, definitely like you start like being more, you know, like technical, you know, and then you start using the techniques with a purpose, you know.
Have you seen different technique in Bulgarian fighters?
You know, like it's just like more like I can tell they're more wrestlers, you know, like the base. Yeah, the base is like more wrestling and judo. But definitely like there's like different levels, you know. I cannot say, oh, this is the style of Bulgarian people, this is the style of Italian people. Yeah. I think it's all the same.
May I give the answer because I'm a Bulgarian?
Yeah.
Но на български.
It's a black zone.
Понеже I would say the преди години, когато е започнало, както Андре каза, Фернандес се създава в съжмолни бойци и дист. Естествено, това, което се тренирало, това наладиш. Обаче в 2023 година прекалено много информация, имам прекалено много топ треньори се идват тук. И наши момчета обикалят света и вече сме да твърде, че играем на нивото, каквото е столното. И като тактика, и като техника. Естествено, всеки пригажда журналистите за неговия стил. Както Андре казва, когато си бял и син блонд, просто са прилав нагоре в да изграда своя скил. Най-голямата разлика е Black Belt и всичко останало. Това, което той вижда. И като каза как дава черен клон на някой. Когато ти потеде да показва в клон, що е на други лъсци. Ладите клони се сперфон атрактивно. Скача, пиляво и дясно, мали, ако гледаш, ще привлече в хора Санек. Най-красиво да гледаш лади клони. В тебе спешно движение, но не задържат лъсците. Когато ти сме кафеде на черен брак, който кажеш, оли падеджу, и алак се в човек по случай. Още ще ставаш.
Yes, къде са different bases, different sports, different bodybuilds of the Bulgarians from the I don't for example, they're taller, they're slimmer and that.
You mean we in Balkanian Peninsula would like to wrestle. Our idea and our by nature. We don't when I roll with some European, every time he asks me where are you from, I say Bulgaria. Oh, you're a wrestler. Oh, because they play more technical. We Eastern Europe play more about same like Brazil. Brazil, I think they are the same.
Yeah, it's the culture of the country, you know.
Yeah,
and not mine and also I suppose you're training all over the world.
Yeah,
and maybe you can spot differences in.
Yeah. Definitely. Like if you see like a place where there's more like taller people, stronger people, they gotta play more on top. They gotta play more like takedowns, you know. They got a little less guard, you know. But at the end of the day, you can see the same jiu-jitsu everywhere, you know, especially with the, like I say, with the edge base of second knowledge, you know, because everybody knows jiu-jitsu nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays with much more mixed styles.
Yeah.
How do you recommend train, or what's your preference to train split between drills and sparring?
Yeah, so how many days? Yeah, a lot of people ask that, like, oh, how do you train? What is the best way for you to learn, you know? Definitely, like, you have to train smart, you know? A lot of smart. Yeah, exactly. Like, some people, they like to just, like, okay, go to the gym and they spar a lot. They just spar. And when you spar, because jiu-jitsu, you can do that, you know, jiu-jitsu. It's not like boxing and Muay Thai. You can't spar every day, boxing, Muay Thai. But in jiu-jitsu, you can spar every single day. And you can spar hard.
Yell at all day.
Yeah, you can, but I don't think that's the way for you to develop your skills. You know, I think you have to put yourself into situations and you try to develop new things from that situation. If you follow my career, like I always try to get better every year. Like every time I was with a different tool. especially when you become a champion. People start studying you. They start like fixing, like they start like trying to fight against your technique in your game. So you have to come up with something new to surprise them. So if I always
explore your weaknesses.
Yes, I always try to
blow openings.
Yeah, exactly. So I can take down, I can pass, I can play guard, I can do everything. But some people you watch, they jump to the guards, or they just play on top, and they still like champions, But that's not my style. For me, like I feel like I have to feel comfortable in every single area of the fight. Standing with my back on the floor, and I'm on top, so I have to feel comfortable. And I always try to evolve my techniques. And the way I evolved was always, of course, if I'm doing sparring, then I try to put myself into those situations. But at the end of the day, I think the situational sparring, it's what will give you more, I would say, give you more tools so you can advance your techniques. For example, there are the basics situations, which is like close guard, half guard, side control, mount, battle. Those are situations that happens in the fight all the time. It's very basic. So if you don't spend time like in those areas, in those situations, and you just do sparring, you probably, let's say, when you spar for 10 minutes, you probably mount on the guy one time and they spend 10 seconds on mount. But imagine if you train on mounts for 10 minutes, per day, or 5 minutes per day, you mount it and you spend time there. So you start building different muscle. You start building a better technique, a better control. But at the end of the day, the fight is about controlling and attacking with the wishes. So if you don't separate your trade like that, you definitely will get stuck with your stronger weapons, I would say tech roots. So training, attacking, and defense is all situations, sir. Nowadays we have lapel guard, we have like a spider guard, open guard, de la riva, follows, double pull, 50-50, So it's hard to make different situationals from everything, but definitely those like basic situationals, like close guard, up guard, side control, mount, and back. You have to implement their training at least like 3-4 times a week. That's always sort of to develop.
Can you recall your best time in the sport when you were feeling invincible, you cannot lose, and it's a very strange feeling for you, and also the negative, the worst, when you don't even know how you lose and how could help you win?
Yeah. Definitely like in 2008, it was one of my best years. I submitted all fights. First Worlds 2005, I submitted everyone. All matches. My first year black belt, I was only 3 months black belt, and I win a world title, submitting everyone. In 2008, also I submitted everyone. In 2008, I felt like I was able in every single area. I had an amazing judo and all that, my cardio. I had a great match with Roger Gracie. I almost took his back, even though I was smaller. But definitely that year, like, I fought guys like, I fought Lovato Jr., and I submit all, so it was a great year. And definitely like the 2019 ADCC against Olympic Pena, I could fight like with anyone that day. I felt like invincible. The training camp was perfect. Everything was perfect. The moment was perfect. And I felt like that to like investment right there. The finals in ADCC, I did in 2011. I would say like the ADCC in 2011, when I win double gold, my first double gold ADCC, the first day I felt terrible. It was the worst day of my. The second day I felt invincible. It was weird. Like
what's the difference?
Yeah, mindset. Because like
mindset.
Yeah, because I fought 2008. I won Worlds 2008, and then I retired, fight MMA. Then I fought 2009, 2010 MMA, and then 2011 was the year that I came back to Jiu-Jitsu. I retired Jiu-Jitsu for 2 years, and then I came back fighting ADCC. And I wasn't sure if I was ready. Like I knew that the sport was always developing. Like in 2-3 years, developed a lot. Sorry, my last fight was 2008, and then I came back 2011, And I was like, I'm not sure if I'm ready, because I'm not competing for like 2-3 years in Jiu-Jitsu. I was doing MMA. And then like the first day I fought, I was like, okay. I fought the first guy, I think, Ortega, and then the second guy was like Gunnar Nelson. I beat both, and I was like, okay, so I won, but I'm not sure, you know. And then I went to the hotel. I had like a pain on my back. If you watch, I'm wearing like I put like a patch, you know. There's like a ice hot patch on my lower back because I couldn't move when I went to the hotel. And then Bruno Frasato, my friend, like he did a massage on me, like, and I rest, I slept, I woke up, and when I woke up, I was like, you know what? Nobody's gonna beat me today. And then I went there, and I was like, I don't care, I just gonna go hard, you know. And if you watch my fight against Popovich in the finals, he put me in the deep half, and I started doing this with my head, because the person who was coaching me, I think it was Gimenez. He was coaching me. He's like, oh, be careful right there. And I'm like, he's not going to do anything on me, you know. Like, I'm going to kill this guy. And then, you know. And my fight against him in the semifinals of the weight division, too. Like, it was like, oh, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I just felt like a machine. And I actually trained like a machine. I trained, like, so hard for that. Those are the camps that I definitely, like, I was like 100% like a student and just train, even though I had my students, but I put people to help me. And definitely, like, the mindset is everything.
Can you put yourself voluntarily in this place, in this mindset to be like, today I'm killing, for sure, no we can stop.
Yeah, you can, but in training, like, that's the biggest mistake of people. People also have that mindset in the day of the tournament. It's not gonna happen.
You should put the hard work, you have that mindset.
Yeah, you have to have the mindset for like months, years, every day. Like, and then the day of the event is just one more day that you haven't already that mindset. So, of course, you have to train smart. Like I say, you're not gonna destroy your teammates. Like you try to destroy like someone when you compete.
Yeah.
Like if I told someone in a tournament, I go like, oh, 100%. But in training, if I go like that, I'm probably gonna hurt my teammate, and he probably not doesn't want to train with me anymore after that, you know. So I have to know how to control myself. But at the same time, when you wake up sore, you have to be at the gym. When you have to lift weights, when you feel like you can't, you feel like, oh man, you know what? My body is like beat up, but you know, I have to do it. It's on the schedule. So it's like every day overcoming yourself so you feel like unbeatable in the day of the event. It's a preparation that makes you confident. It's not like the day of the tournament, because a lot of people, they ask me that and I tell them, but then like when I see them the way they train, I'm like, no, you don't want to be, well, you don't want to be unbeatable because you're lazy, you don't show up, you're sore, you stay home. It's like cold, and then you don't want to like train when it's cold, you know, or you tweak your finger, now you have to rest. Like, people ask me how to train when you're injured as well. I can answer that. But I feel like if I have a dream of becoming a world champion, I have to work for it, right? And working for it is like dedication and discipline every single day, 24/7, right? You have to live your dream 24/7. It's not like only that 2 hours, that training session that you gotta do 100%. It's all day long. What do you eat? How do you sleep? What you watching? How you feed your mind? People you hang out, right? So all of this will lead you to the victory.
And this is years long, not
yeah, it's like years long, but once you establish like your name, you conquer your name, then you can probably like have like, of course, because you have to rest your mind, right? But definitely if you wanted to become a beast, you can do every day, like for years, you know? And as you guys know, like I trained Jiu-Jitsu. I was an athlete, I was a coach, I run a business, I run an association. I was doing all of that at the same time. And I think I am the only athlete who did that in Jiu-Jitsu. Having a family, I'm the only athlete that did that in Jiu-Jitsu and maybe in the sport as well. It's kind of like, imagine if I own Real Madrid, I coach everyone from Real Madrid, I have to make the contracts for the players, I have to like pay the bills, like I was doing all of that, but also I was in the field play, you know, and it's so hard to do it, and I did it, and I'm very proud of that, and I think like God gave me a lot of strength to be able and capable to do it, and at the same time that I was winning titles, I was building champions, you know. It's not only me, but I built like world champions, black belts, like high-level athletes.
Giving back.
Yeah, giving back, and I think that's the purpose of life, and giving back's the best thing, you know. I feel like more victorious when I make someone champion than when I win myself, you know. And when you can transmit this mindset, you know, to people, helping them to achieve their goals and the glory, you know, because it's a glory day when you win, like, oh, you know, you realize like all the hard work that you have done, that the things that you passed through to get there. That's the beauty, man. That's amazing. But I say this, I told them like in the seminar, I say, man, you want to be a world champion, and I ask you, what's your dream? Then you tell me, I want to be the best in the world. Okay. But then like tomorrow you don't show up to train, or you show up late, you know, and then I'm like, you don't want to be a world champion. You just want to be one person fighting tournament. Because if you really want to be the best, if you really want to have that, you have to train in a way that people think you're crazy. Because for me, crazy are the people who say they want to be champions, but they don't do anything to be it. They don't do anything to be a champion. I mean, like, they don't have discipline. They don't eat well. They don't sleep well. They just want to be like with that mindset of like a beast in the day of the tournament. No, you have to do that every day. You know, it's like you don't see like a soldier preparing to a war where it's like a life and death situation, you know? Like either he goes to save or get freedom or die. And every day he has a regimen of training to prepare him to be there like as strong as he can. And he can make a mistake. If he make a mistake, he can die. You know, so there's like I have a student, Dominic Bell, and he was a military guy, and he told me there's a test in the military, like in the United States, where they take the military people in a helicopter, they put you in a forest, and they tell you like where you want to have a bone breakup. They break your arm or they break your leg, and they leave you there. You know, can you do it? You know, like how can I get in that level of mindset? Imagine if somebody go in the forest, put you there and break your arm, and then tell you like, now you survived it. And your arm is broken.
Oh no, I'll wait for the wolf.
Right? It's like, but for them, no, you have to survive, you know, and you train your mind, you know. It's at the end of the day, it's all about the mind, and people don't understand that. If you talk about all the highest athletes in the world in every single sport, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, you know, Michael Phelps, all these guys are beasts. They have this mindset.
The definition of the sport.
It's the definition. It's like, and that's the beauty of the sport, overcoming. Usain Bolt. It's about like overcoming every single day yourself. If you watch the documentary of those guys, you kind of like, oh my God, man, this is crazy, you know. And that's what I did. That's why I became champion. That's why I won every single title in Jiu-Jitsu, you know, as an athlete and as a coach right now.
Is that a weight on your shoulder to have that name that accomplished everything, and then when you go back and you're not sure, you have your doubts, and this is something that you should protect that name?
Yeah. Once you build your name, of course, like there's more pressure. And I say that like there's a lot of athletes, they win the worlds one time and they disappear. Right? Because they don't like that pressure, or they feel like they don't know how to deal with the pressure. Winning one time is one thing. Winning like multiple times is different.
And maybe you accomplished your dream, and from then on you have like, I reached the goal.
Yeah.
How should I now continue the same path? I'm already there.
How can I have the same motivation?
You know,
right? You have to prove yourself again and again. Yeah, but I feel like you cannot live for the past. You have to be present. It was like, wow. I remember when I used to win, I step on the podium I step on the podium, and then like when I remember when I used to tournament, I step on the podium, I got my medal, I leave the podium, and I remember I was like, okay, time to go back and train again, start every day, and so it's like
on the next day, right?
Yeah, the next day I was already training, like I was already when, let's say when I lose a final because I have lost before as well, and the finals and all that, losing a world title. Man, the same day I was in the gym again, like many times. That was a survey that I lost. I was there many times.
Distance of the gym.
Yeah, it's like you're hungry, you know. You're hungry because it's not about only one time. It's about the love. At the end of the day, you have to love everything. If you don't love, and you feel you're fighting just for money, you're fighting just for being famous, you're not gonna last. You have to love. You have to love what you do.
You love it, and that keeps you forward, keeps you going.
Yeah, that's the motivation.
But when you fail, when it's your worst time, and you lost, and you even don't find a reason to continue.
Yeah,
you're not sure if you're like who said that. I think Mike Tyson said like no more because I'm just embarrassing the sport.
Yeah, no, I think like it depends of your. I would say like your. Where's your mind? You know, what you pass in life. But at the end of the day, I think it's about, like, of course, the mindset, you know, but it's being honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself. Like, when you lose, you look within, like, what I did wrong, you know? Well, because sometimes you do everything right, but then, like, you end up losing.
Yeah, what about this time?
Yeah, exactly.
And did you have better time like this?
Yeah, of course. But there's like also, there's always something that you could do better. There's because if you definitely do, you're never gonna be perfect. But if you definitely like, maybe like maybe it's like the dieting, maybe it's like being more flexible, maybe it's like your stand-up game, maybe it's like knowing more about the rules. Right? There's always something that you can get better. There's always something that you can fix, right? And during those times, I never thought about like, oh, I'm embarrassed in this sport, because I never had that. Well, thank God. Like my first world title was 2002, and I was fighting the last fight at ADCC in 2022. Okay, you know, like it's like 20 years, like fighting, winning, you know, and I didn't have a career like I see a lot of people like, because people identify more with this, and maybe for me it's hard to transmit that because since the beginning, I always have a good result since the white belt. And I always like have a great result. Of course, I do it to defeats and all that. But there's the story of people that didn't win anything until brown belt, and they say, oh, you know what? I used to lose. Now I find a way to win, you know. But I found this way to win since the beginning, you know, the mindset, and of course I tried always to get better. But I think like the hard work and the dedication and believing in my coaching systems and all that helped me a lot, you know, to understand that when I lose, I have to just like think. And I remember my first year as a blue belt, I used to always go to the finals and lose the final. I got second place at Worlds, you know, in blue belt, second place in the state, second place at the nationals. I was second place in everything, and my coach was driving. He looked at me, he was like, "Man, you always get in second place this year. What happened?" And I say, "You know what? I don't know, but I knew."
Oh, you knew?
I knew. Of course, I knew. You know, if you stick to the truth, you find the truth.
But you knew, or you
knew,
like
but
to use?
I knew, but I was ashamed to share because ego, you know. And a lot of times you do that. Like he asked me, and I'm like, I don't know. He's like, think about it.
What was it?
I was happy to be in the finals.
Did you feel your goal?
Yeah. You know, I'm the finals. Oh, I'm happy.
You're there. You succeeded.
I'm there.
Enough.
Oh, I'm in the finals. Great. That's enough. Then lose. You know, and many people have that. Some people, they fight to place. Oh, this is the quarterfinals. They go to the to the podium. They're like, okay, I'm good. I'll be in the picture of the podium. Like, man, maybe 90% of people think that way. You have to fight it today. And then I realized, like, okay, I have to fight today. And my coach, even my wife says sometimes, like, please don't share this, you know, because this is very hard. My coach look at me and say, André, who's the vice president of our country? Yeah, I start thinking, who's the vice president of the United States? I'm like, he's the vice president. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, stop being second place.
Yeah. Nobody will remember you.
Yeah.
Who's the second?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody remember you because it's only like one little thing. Sometimes you win by ref decision. Sometimes you win by advantage. It's just one little thing.
But it's night and day.
But it's like, it's night and day, man. The glory of the gold medal is way different than the second place. So, and then when he said that, I was like, wow, it's true. And then when I got in the finals, I looked at that guy, like, no, you're going to be the second, man. I'm not going to be the second. You know? And the mindset changed. I got the trigger. But each person has a way to trigger their champions within. You know, some people have to be more aggressive. Some people have to have more joy. Some people, you have to just find a way that makes you find them beast mode, you know, and to be conscious. But every time I lost, that's how I figure things out. You know, I stop, I reflect, and I try to do my best.
Thank you so much for your time.
Драги зрители на Будилник, Андре е изключително забавен и интелигентен събеседник, но за съжаление след 20 минути имаме глас.
We can talk for 3-4 hours for sure.
Yeah.
We can do that. Sure, yeah. I don't care.
Thank you all for your time. Thank you for watching.
But I think
I'm watching there.
I hope like this helps many people.
Thank you for giving this life advices, coaching advices to everyone in Bulgaria and everyone around.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Take it. Bye.